right, man. We setting the tone. And I got really some thoughts to share because I want to teach you how to leverage your willpower. Willpower is not always going to last. It's not always going to be in a limited supply. It's not always going to be readily available every time you're looking for it. A lot of niggas out here be looking for the motivation to complete something, the motivation to do something. Bigger than motivation, bigger than willpower, I'm realizing that there is a thing called strategy that you need to employ to get things done in your life. Time waits for no man, and if you don't have a strategy to how you want your life to look, then you're going to be in the same position month after month, year after year, week after week. Big energy. Reflect over the last 300 days of your life, this last year. What has changed? Don't lie to yourself. We're only bringing in big energy. We're only bringing in the authenticity of your answers. Over the past 365 days, what has changed about your life? Because let me tell you, if you solely relied on willpower to employ these changes, to go to the gym, to read more books, to be more social, to pour back into your own cup, to develop yourself spiritually and emotionally, if you have only relied on willpower, it's a high chance, it's a high percentage that you really didn't get far from there. Because willpower is only a temporary surge of energy. Now, I want to talk about 3 components to strategy. 3 aspects to what your strategy could or should look like when it comes to implementing any type of goal that you have in your life. The first principle of strategy is willingness. Listen, too many times I got up out of my bed and I didn't even have the willingness to be productive today. I didn't have the willingness to cook. I didn't have the willingness to just drink water all day. I didn't have the willingness to connect with my friends. Why? Because my willingness was passive. It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't assertive. It was just more so willy-nilly. Like, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. I'm going with the flow type shit. Going with the flow will not, absolutely not bring you intentional results. There has to be an aspect of assertive willingness, of strategy to complete anything you're trying to do in your life, right? We get our energy from the first few hours of the day. So when you take into account we get our energy the first few hours of the day, how am I starting my days? Because it builds and builds and it builds, and the way you start your days is going to be the strategy towards your life. It's ongoing. It's not just one cycle. It's not just one season. It's not just for a few weeks. It's ongoing. You build on this strategy until it becomes a habitual habit to the point where you don't even have to think about going. I have a strong, assertive willingness to get up in the morning and do yoga. On my floor, in my living room, my dog be looking at me crazy. I have my yoga mat, and I just put on a YouTube video from, a YouTube video that's like a 20-minute yoga stretch. Because what it does is that it opens up the energy portals throughout my body so I can attack the day with intention and energy. You need energy, you need vitality to tackle the day. So when you have that willingness to want to do yoga, right, 3 times a week, when you have that willingness to want to go outside the first few minutes of the day, that willingness to start with, positive music or taking a cold shower, whatever your heart desires, there has to be a defined willingness for it to be accomplished. You have to be willing, you have to want it, right? You can use a synonym of wanting in exchange for willingness. You have to have a desire, it has to be there. You have to want to do it. Can't no coach, can't no content creator force you to do something that you don't really want to do. Let's be honest. You grown. Number 2, this is a big one that I used to struggle with, commitment. Baby boy, commitment Listen, I always ask myself often, if I won the lottery, $5 million, $3 million, would I still commit to the actions that I'm doing right now? Would I still have a desire to coach people? Would I still want to sell content? Would I still want to connect to the youth? Would I still want to wake up and go to yoga? These questions are your pillars of commitment. Because when you're committed to doing something, can nothing externally stop you from fulfilling that. Now, you're going to have off days where you feel like you don't want to do something. You're going to have moments when your energy is not going to be elevated, but those moments are temporary, and your commitment will help you push through. Your commitment will help you push through that sluggish energy that may come here and there. You hear me? So are you committed? Now, I want you to realize the principle of commitment is going to come from your why. Why am I doing this? Why am I waking up to do yoga? Who does that? My why is because the energy and vitality I feel after I'm done with the practice. It only takes 20 minutes of my day. Why do I even want to start a YouTube channel? Why do I want to even start a business? And I know it's going to take a lot of time and energy and alignment and commitment for me to do it. The reason is because the freedom that I'm going to receive and the fulfillment that I'm going to receive from just helping other people who need guidance and leadership. Why are you wanting to be committed in that relationship? Because I have a due diligence to treat people the way I would like to be treated, and I want to care for this person's heart the way I care for mine. Why? When you ask yourself these why questions, when it connects to your commitment, you find clarity in the things that you're doing. It took me a minute to ask myself, like, if I won the lottery, why would I care about coaching? Why would I care about teaching? Why would I care about training people's mindsets? And the reality of it is, the reason is because it feels good. It's my natural born gift. It's why I'm here on this earth to do. So because it's a deep, innate feeling of fulfillment, that's the innate reason why the commitment must be there. Right? So we talked about willpower or wanting to do a thing. These are principles of strategy. Principles of strategy. The willpower, the desire, that has to be there. That's number one. Number two, you have to be committed. I don't give a damn how your weekend is set up. I don't care what plans you have. I don't care if you won a lottery and you can take a trip out the country every weekend. What are you committed to? You can't be out here just willy-nilly and not really have a sense of direction, because your purpose is going to lock you into your direction. Otherwise, you browsing social media casually, not really have no source of purpose, no source of meaning. And that feels empty, because can't nothing material fulfill where purpose is supposed to be. Shall we move on? The last principle that I feel like is a iron sharpens iron for commitment is simply consistency. Now, consistency is not a fruit of motivation. Consistency is a combination of the desire and the commitment to wake up every day and do something over and over and over, low key, until you start to experience results from it, right? So once you start to experience results, people may argue that it becomes a lot more easier to commit to it, right? It becomes a lot more easier to do those pull-ups. I recently just put a pull-up bar on my, not recently, it's been like 2 months. I recently just put a pull-up bar on my bedroom door so I can train my mind to like get physical, right? Every ounce a second that I get in my day. Because I'm already chilling on the couch. I'm already on my phone, so why not just do a few pull-ups? So I realized as I started doing these pull-ups, my back has become more defined, and it has become a window of like energy for me to exert that effort every time I come across those days where I pull it up. I do at least like 50 a day, because it's easy to pull up when it's right there in your room, right? Versus like physically getting up and having to go somewhere. So you have to, and that's a strategy too. That's a strategy for me to stay fit, is to have that pull-up bar in my crib so that it can implement the idea for me to get up, go downstairs to my gym, my state-of-the-art gym, and work out. Feel me? Now, with consistency, I want to be honest. Consistency is not as difficult as people may make it seem, right? Now, I will say with consistency, it's easy to take a day off. As soon as you take a day off, your mind is going to start telling you like, okay, I can take the next day off, and I can take the next day off. Oh, might as well wait till the weekend. You have to remember your commitment. There's reasons that these steps are designed the way it is. You have to have the desire to want that body or want that financial goal. You have to have the commitment to continue to budget your money or continue to exercise. And then you have to keep doing it paycheck after paycheck, Tuesday after Tuesday, Monday after Monday. You have to continuously put your foot on the gas. Now, a trick to commitment is this. It's not always going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not always going to be the level of intensity that you're hoping it to be, right? So when you're committed to something and you're desiring it, it's not going to be always your best or 100% full effort. Sometimes it might be just you giving 50%. Sometimes it might be you giving 30%. I got to get my driver's license today. In the state of Texas, the great state of Texas, but it might not be, all of you. Sometimes you may give more than what you know you can give. Sometimes it might be 60%. Other times it might be 90%, right? So you have to be really honest with yourself and how much you're able to give on a day-to-day basis. Because every day is not going to be 100. But you have to honor and acknowledge those days where you're only giving 30%, where you're only giving 20%, or when you're deciding to take a rest day and still wake up the next day and commit to the action. It's really a mindset thing. You have dominion over your mind. You have dominion on how you think. And dominion is simply control. You have power over how you think, over how you move. Nothing is out of your control. You have all the tools that's necessary to go to the next level, but it does require a strategy. You can't just wake up and be random. You can't just wake up and think this is going to work out for you just because you're attractive or just because you have these things going on. You have to have some type of strategy to employ to accomplish anything you're trying to become. Keep in mind, you have to become it first before you can do it. Right? You have to become a person who's good at saving money before you can be financially free. You have to become a person who's good at managing their time before you can be a full-time entrepreneur and chase that and align with that avenue of freedom. You have to become it. Hey, strategy will save you so much time because over time it's going to start to become embedded in your mind, and it's going to be a neurotransmitter that's effortlessly communicating to cells in your brain. It's going to become so effortless that you're going to be really, really amazed at how you don't even have to think about doing it. You don't have to force yourself anymore. I don't force myself to do pull-ups anymore. I just casually do it no matter what my day is like. I don't force myself to go to Barnes & Noble on the weekend anymore. I just casually do it because this is who I am. I'm a reader. I don't force myself to go to boxing practice. I ain't gonna lie. It's still, no, boxing practice is still, it's still growing on me. You feel me? But like, the more strategy you have, like for boxing, my strategy is basically I set my alarm. I go to practice at 6:30. I work overnight, so I set my alarm at like 3-4 o'clock, and then I just have the mentality already in my mind that I'm going to boxing. It's like every time I think about it, it's ongoing. I just put it in my mind, in my schedule consistently, because if I don't, then I'm gonna just sleep it off. When I'm just making an excuse. So I effortlessly tell myself like, yeah, I got boxing Tuesday, I got boxing on Tuesday, I got boxing on Tuesday. And it's exciting. Boxing is fun, like boxing, yoga, reading, all of these things are fun as fuck to me because it is watering me. Why are there so many people at the driver's license spot? Listen, desire, want, consistency, and commitment. All of those avenues is a recipe for strategy. We locking in, we setting the tone.